The Euphrates River is drying up, and the 4 angels that are held at the great river Euphrates are going to be released when the Euphrates River dries up. This is what the river looked like early 2024. As it has dried up, they have found caves at the great river Euphrates. Caves. Very interesting. Hold that thought. I want to shine a further light on the marine kingdom and how these fallen angels or these demons, they can survive underwater. Okay? These marine spirits, the things I talked about in the last video, they can survive underwater. They are not aliens. Hear me out. Listen, it says in the book of Revelation, I have my trusty old Bible here. It says, then the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the 6th angel who had the trumpet, release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. So the 4 angels who have been prepared for the hour and the day and the month and the year were released to kill 1/3 of mankind. Now the number of the army of the horsemen was 200 million. I heard the number of them, and so forth, whatever the case may be. The thing I want to shine a light on here is that these angels were able to survive underwater for thousands of years. Now, these particular fallen angels were bounded up, so they could not leave until their day to be released, which is the 6th trumpet, when they'll be released to slaughter a 1/3 of mankind. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that the marine kingdom, these fallen angels, these demons, they can live underwater. There are so many different verses where it talks about a demon or a fallen angel, and it has something to do with water. We look at any other verses in Revelation, talk about, and I saw, behold, a beast coming out of the sea with 10 heads. And like, we see this so many times where water does not affect them clearly because they can live in it. And so these waters, right, in Genesis, a lot of you were saying how, and God's spirit was hovering over the deep. Or in some versions it says, and God's spirit was hovering over the deep waters. You feel what I'm saying? And so where I'm going with this is that this is just another piggyback. These demons, these fallen angels, they're 2 different things. Let me make this very clear. Actually, I'll make a video on that. But the fallen angels can survive underwater as well as these demons, whether they're disembodied, whether they're full Nephilim form, whether they're possessing a person, they can do these things. Okay? That's all I gotta say.
Ik zat natuurlijk in de zwarte magie, zwarte hekskring. Ja, de inwijdingen, dat werd met rituelen en ceremonieën uitgevoerd. Er werden 2 belangrijke eden afgelegd. De eerste eed was een eed van geheimhouding. En als je in die coven zat en je zou tijdens dat je daar was zo'n eed verbreken, dan kon de dood toch gevolg hebben.
De dood?
Ja, zeker. Maar er was nog een eed.
Oh ja.
En die is ook heel belangrijk. De tweede eed was, je zweerde trouw aan de God van de zon en de maan en het licht. Lucifer, Satan. Alleen de heksen noemen Lucifer geen Satan. Hè? Dat is de God van het licht, maar dat is gewoon een Satan.
Have y'all seen Apple's new emojis? It's pregnant men. If you updated your Apple iPhone, you now have pregnant men emojis. Hold on, that's not it. You have a man in a wedding dress. That's not it. You have a woman in a tux. That's not it. It's just like, what is Apple doing? Like, what's the purpose of this? I just don't get it. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, modern day Sodom and Gomorrah is, y'all can't tell me that this isn't modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. We just got technology. This is wild, bro. Like, I mean, like, let's call a spade, bro. Let's call a spade a spade. It's wild. It really is. It really is. I don't understand why and what is possessing Apple. I just personally think it's getting out of hand. And not only that, even the little family, little blue things that normally is like the mother, the father, and the child, there's just people with heads now. There's nothing. It's just people with heads. It's like, bro, what are we doing? Like, I don't get it, bro. Like, I genuinely don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't.
What if I told you the most innocent hand signs of our time have a completely different meaning than what we're told? Think about the hand signs you see everywhere today. The heart sign, the rock on hand sign, and even the OK symbol. They seem harmless, right? But what if they weren't? What if their origins are far darker than we've been led to believe? Take the rock on hand sign, for example. Anton LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan, openly called this the sign of the horns. According to him, it's not a gesture of rock and roll rebellion. It's a curse sign. Yes, some people claim it was used historically to ward off the evil eye or spirits. But what if I told you that was just the way they deceived people back then, before rock music was a thing? I mean, even the sign of the one eye, the Eye of Ra, back in ancient Egypt was said to be a symbol of warding off evil, repelling all negative energy, and restoring harmony. Are we going to believe that as well now? And then what are the chances that practically the same hand sign means I love you in American Sign Language? I love you, Satan, more like. Or maybe you're just cursing each other. Then there's the heart sign. It's been spun into countless feel-good stories about its origins. But the truth might be hiding in plain sight. Think about it. It looks nothing like an actual beating heart. But this gesture mimics not just one, but a few anatomical parts of the human body, subtly designed to trigger subconscious lust, whether you realize it or not. It's not about love. It's about manipulation. And when you think about who they've got using the symbol in our population, it's just plain creepy. And let's not forget the OK sign. You've probably heard about its controversial interpretations. Some say it's a harmless gesture. Others link it to something sinister. But why is it that every time you dig into these hand signs, you end up finding connections to secret societies, occult symbols, rituals, and every popular gesture of today mirrored back at you? It's no coincidence that hand signs, in general, are most popular among gangs and Satanists. Both model citizens, right? They use them intentionally. The rest of us, we're just following along blindly, mimicking what we see without a second thought. So, the next time you make a hand sign, question it. If these hand signs were truly innocent, do you really think they'd be so heavily pushed into the mainstream? I'm gonna go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
Every single holiday that we celebrate is celebrating one of the 7 deadly sins. Every single holiday. Okay. Think about it. So the easiest one, Valentine's Day, celebrates the sin of lust.
Okay.
Christmas represents lust for obvious reasons. Now, Thanksgiving, that celebrates the sin of gluttony.
Gluttony, because you're
eating a lot. Mm-hmm. You're overeating. You're taking too much more than you need.
Yeah.
Now, Christmas, what do you think that is?
Greed?
Greed. Yeah. Overconsumption and excess.
Okay.
Right? Wanting more of something.
That makes sense.
We're celebrating gifts. We're celebrating gifts. We're not really even celebrating like the birth of Christ because people are so focused on the gifts and shit. Now, Easter. This one's interesting.
I don't know.
The holiday of Easter, what sin would it be?
Easter. I don't know.
Check this out. This one gets deep.
Okay.
So they say it's envy because the Romans were jealous of Jesus, so they murdered him.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Husbands, did you know that Satan hates your wife so much that he's going to use the very person that God placed on this earth to protect her, to destroy her? And he does it before you get married. He does it through porn. He does it through entertainment, through ambition, through selfish desires. He gets us when we're young because he knows that if he can get us when we're young and destroy us, then once she says I do to us, then he doesn't even need to touch her because she's going to already be neglected. And you're going to do the job for him. And that's why in the word, you got to listen to what Jesus says, right? You're her covering. He said, narrow is the way that leads unto life and only few find it. Marriage is a narrow road. It's a life that requires vision. It's a life that you must sacrifice and die for. And that's why the goal for every husband is to become a living sacrifice. It doesn't mean that you die physically, but you do die to your flesh. Because if you can become a living sacrifice, what that does is it takes your eyes off of yourself and it puts it on your wife. Because if you are the one that destroys your wife, then guess what happens? She doesn't end up blaming Satan. She ends up blaming God because she feels like you were the one that he blessed her with and you didn't end up being a blessing. You ended up being a curse. Let us have dominion.
Do you not get the concept?